Greetings, salutations, and thanks for joining me for another video. While I'm planning to hit the road next week for a couple fun camping adventures in my Tesla, I thought I'd do a quick, somewhat informal podcast-style video answering the questions I get asked the most often in YouTube comments, as well as on Twitter and Instagram. If you're not already following me, I'll put links in the description below to my social media accounts where you can then follow me to get a more personal, daily view of my travels. Also, any products I talk about in this video, I'll make sure to leave a link below in the description. So just head down there after the video. All right, let's get into it. All right, so question number 1, how often do you experience phantom braking when using Autopilot? Well, almost never, and here's why. So I got my Model Y just before Tesla announced they were removing radar and going all in on the camera system called Tesla Vision. So I took delivery of my car on April 30th of last year, and it was just after that, I think like in July, that Elon and Tesla announced that they were removing radar and was just planning to go all in with their camera system called Tesla Vision. So besides a few instances early on when I first got my car, I can't think of any times after the first few updates that I've had issues since then. I think there's probably 2 or 3 times in the first month or two that I had it. And then once I got some over-the-air updates, no problem since then. And it's been, I would guess, probably 6 months since I've had any issues. This seems to be mainly an issue with newer models that only have Tesla Vision. And while this may turn out to be a smart move long-term, it was probably premature for Elon and Tesla to remove radar as early as they did. Question number 2, does Autopilot work at night or in the rain and snow? And the answer is an easy one. Yes, it works great in both rain, snow, and at night. You shouldn't have any problems. The only time I could actually see an issue would be if like snow or water or something like that was covering the lines in the middle. All right, so question number 3, how do you charge your car in Las Vegas? Well, I was using one of the 4 Superchargers here in Las Vegas. I was living in the casinos while I was in town and using my comps. But now that I've got a house here, I have a Tesla wall charger at home that gets up to 44 miles of range per hour, which is way more convenient. And I can't even begin to compare it to gas at the moment, as it feels like a cheat code or something, as it's pennies compared to the pump. Something a lot of people forget when thinking about buying an electric vehicle is they worry about charging. Well, one, the Tesla Supercharger network has over 1,100 stations here in North America with tens of thousands of stalls and new ones being added weekly. And while that's a lot less than gas stations, it's growing fast and rarely is an issue. And what everybody forgets is that the majority of people will charge at home 99% of the time, which is way more convenient than a gas car, as you wake up each day with a fully charged car that costs a fraction of filling up at a gas station. Just like you charge your phone at night, the same goes for your car. The savings are even more apparent in current times where gas prices are completely out of control. All right, so question number 4, how do I run my refrigerator freezer all the time so my food doesn't spoil? Well, it's really simple, actually. You just have to make sure that you keep Sentry mode or camp mode on at all times. Sentry mode not only protects your car, but it also allows you to view live camera feeds. This keeps your car awake, and so the car doesn't fall asleep. So really, if you just keep one of those 2 on, I honestly just keep Sentry mode on all the time. And then whenever I'm camping, I'll just turn on camp mode whenever I need it. And then as soon as I'm done with that, I just turn camp mode off and it's back to Sentry mode. So it basically always keeps the car awake and then don't have to worry about it. Question number 5, why does it seem like I'm charging a lot and adding extra charging on my trips? 2 words, cargo box. I'm currently losing around 25% right off the bat, but 99% of you will never have to worry about that and should be able to reliably count on the estimated range that Tesla gives you within like 1 to 3%. Question number 6, why don't I use a rear cargo box like a Stowaway 2 that has a swing away mechanism to get better range? All right, so this is one I get asked all the time, and there's just really a few different reasons. First one is I actually just like the look. Second reason is that I want to have it long enough so if I want to put skis up there, I can. And I wouldn't be able to do that in a rear cargo box. But the most important reason is that in the back, I would be blocking important cameras and sensors that are used by Autopilot, and I just was not willing to do that. Now, I have seen that Autopilot still will work with a few setting changes, but you do lose function of some of the rear sensors and cameras, so again, just wasn't something I was willing to do. For me, it adds like an extra stop or 2 on travel days, but I'm not really in any hurry, so for me, it's not that big of a deal. I will say though, I do look forward to when EVs are getting like 400 plus miles of range. I know like the Model S and like the Lucid Air, both are getting between 400 and 500 miles of range, but that's not the average right now. So me getting around 300 right now and then taking off 25% of that, I'll very much look forward to those days. Let's just say that. All right, question 7. How do you shower and use the bathroom when camping? At campgrounds or when I'm on like public land, BLM land, I typically will use either the campground toilet or shower, or I'll use my pop-up setup, and that's been working great since last year. So the only thing my shower doesn't have is automatic hot water. If it had the automatic hot water, that would be incredible. Outside of that, I usually just leave it in the water container and leave it in the sun for about 2 or 3 hours during the afternoon. And then by the time I'm back from hiking or and having dinner, then I'll jump in, take a quick shower before I head to bed, and the water's plenty warm. If I'm stealth camping, I'll usually use the restroom at whatever hotel or casino I'm parking in the parking lot of. Obviously, you have fast food joints or restaurants. Also, Target, Walmart, Home Depot, and Lowe's are also good ones. And then truck stops do offer showers and, of course, bathrooms. And so, that's an option. I think they're around $10 to $15. And from what I understand, are like super clean. But typically, when I'm on the road, I'm just using Anytime Fitness. I have a membership there. I pay like $35 a month for, and there's Anytimes pretty much everywhere in the country. So that's where I end up usually showering. And while I'm there, I might as well get in a quick workout, right? Question number 8. What bed am I using? I did a video on this, which I will link to. Again, anything I've talked about today, I will make sure to link in the description below, either with the product or with the video that I've already done a review of it. I'm currently using a combo of 3 different products, the main one being the test mat, although currently only using 2 of the 3 strips that come with it. And I'm using that because the top part of it has boards in there, so it keeps like everything from sinking behind the front seats. And with those boards in there, once you have your weight on it, it works perfect. Unfortunately, it's a little too thin to use on its own, especially if you're going to be out camping a lot like I am. So I usually end up using it in combination with a workout mat from Kohl's, where I'm only using the 24 inches instead of the full 36 inches. This year I decided that I wanted to keep the fridge freezer in the back, so I only have a little bit of a smaller 24-inch strip back there. So I keep the workout mat on the bottom, and then above that I have a 3-inch memory foam mattress from Kohl's, which again, I'll link to all of that below. So far, it's been working great. I would obviously love one product that does it all, but so far that doesn't seem to exist. So kind of gets me thinking, maybe I'll release one. Stay tuned. Question number 9, what shades do you use on your car for camping? I currently use the Evanex window shades. I've talked about them before, and again, we'll link up here as well as down below to the review I did. They're fantastic for stealth camping, and they keep the heat out on hot days. For stealth camping, you can use the black side. For when it's hot out, you can use the gold side. The material is great. It has great rigidity, so you don't even need to use the suction cups that come with it, except for the panoramic rooftop. Other than that, all the other ones will just kind of pop into the window. 4 things I would change on them though are the black side should have a matte finish. I wish they offered a silver and black option. I wish the side ones came with no holes. Again, you don't need the suction cup, so there's no reason for that. I remedied that solution by using black Gorilla Tape, and so that's been working great so far. Haven't had any issues there. And the last upgrade I'd like to see is a carrying case, because they are very slippery and they just kind of slide around either when they're up top in the cargo box or in the back. So having some type of case would be super beneficial. And not to take too much of a dig at them, but they haven't been the greatest company to work with. So again, maybe I'll release my own. Question number 10. This is another one that I get a ton of. How much range loss is there when using camp mode? I've talked about this quite a bit in a lot of my camping videos, but if you don't know, as long as it's fairly normal conditions outside and not too extreme, I'd say it's a bit less than 1% per hour of range loss. This may not be true for earlier Teslas without a heat pump, but for any modern like 21, 22 models, you should probably look at a little less than 1% per hour of range loss. Now, if you're in like minus 40, minus 50 degree weather up in like Minnesota or something like that, it might not be that efficient. But I've been in 105, 110 in Vegas and Moab, and it was pretty true to a little less than 1% per hour. Question 11. When camping, how do you know where BLM land is? If you're not familiar, BLM stands for Bureau of Land Management, basically means public land. And so what I use is the Campendium app or the website. And I use that in conjunction with BLM.gov, and I just kind of coordinate the two and make sure that, yep, this is BLM land. It'll usually tell you there's a filter on Campendium, and you can just set it to only show you public land. And so I just choose that. I verify it with BLM.gov, and that's it. All right, question 12. Are there any extra precautions you take in regards to the Tesla when going camping? Yes, I plan. That's the number one thing I do. Because of the lack of sheer number of superchargers compared to gas stations, you really need to plan a little bit better, and you really need to plan your day ahead of time, especially if you're going to be in remote areas. A CCS adapter will help with that when it becomes available here in North America. Current third-party chargers like EVgo, ChargePoint, and Electrify America also do help, which can be located in the PlugShare app or in their respective apps. But because of the slow speeds, we really won't be able to use those to their full potential until Tesla releases the CCS adapter, which I've heard is rumored for an April release. That'll be big because that'll open up a ton more high-speed superchargers around the country, like Electrify America, which you'll find at a lot of Walmarts. Please, Elon, please, April or sooner. Question 13. Did you put PPF, paint protection film, on your Model Y? No, and the main reason was because of cost. When I looked at it, like a full PPF wrap was like $6,000 to $7,000, and I was like, I don't know if that was worth it. And I thought about just doing a front or a partial PPF wrap, but then I looked at that again, $3-4 grand, and decided that I just wasn't going to do it. Then as I kept traveling, I noticed I was getting a ton of bugs in the front and they weren't coming off that easily. Although I did find that Armor All makes a bug and tar remover, which I've talked about before on YouTube, and that's been a lifesaver. So I've been able to take care of that. But what happened then a couple weeks ago, I took a little chip in one of the front sensors, and that ended up being, I think I got quoted like $235 for Tesla to replace it. They ended up coming out and doing a mobile service appointment, and they ended up swapping it out. Guy said he was lucky he had small arms and could fit through without taking the whole front off, and ended up only charging me like, I think $167 or something like that. So still, every time a little rock or something chips one of those sensors, they're going to have to be replaced. So I thought about doing some type of paint protection film just over the sensors. Some people say that if you put PPF over the sensor, that could cause it to be less accurate. Let's say you're pulling into something that says you have 24 inches before you're going to hit it. It could be slightly off because of that. Other people say they have wraps, including my friend. He's got a full vinyl wrap and he has no problems at all. So not sure exactly which camp is right there, but I'm still doing a little more research on that. If you got the money, I'd say go ahead and probably do it, at least the front. I wouldn't worry so much about sides and back, but probably get something on the front to protect that. All right, question 14. How do I power my air fryer or a coffee maker? Well, this is going to sound a little weird, but I've never had a cup of coffee ever in my entire life. I've tasted it. I've smelled it. It smells delicious. The few times that I've taken little sips and stuff like that, I never liked it. And I always saw people so addicted to it that I just decided a long time ago, I was like, not going to drink coffee. And so still haven't. But one thing I do use is my air fryer, and I use it a lot. And people are always kind of like, you take an air fryer camping? Hell yeah, I bring an air fryer camping. That is perfect for like wings, or if you want to make fries, even hot dogs or brats, among a million other things with vegetables. So yeah, it's fantastic. It's easy to clean. The one drawback is it takes a lot of power. So I currently use it with my Jackery 1500, or if there's an electrical post at the campground. If I'm boondocking, which I do often, then I just plug in the 200-watt solar panels that I have with my Jackery and charge those up during the day. Or if I really need to recharge the Jackery after cooking and there's not enough sun, I'll just plug it into the car. It's only 1.5 kilowatt hours, which is a tiny fraction of the 75 kilowatt hour batteries the Tesla Model Y has. Question 15, how do I deal with food in my car when in bear country? This is something I did talk about in my Yellowstone videos, which I will link to up here as well as again down in the description. And the main thing is I put everything in a bear box, including the refrigerator freezer. So I'll put the fridge out there and then just plug it into the Jackery. And for stuff in the car, I just make sure that it's tightly sealed. All the windows are up. I don't put any type of food in the cargo box, and I don't cook or use the bathroom within 100 yards of the campsite. Also, luckily, Teslas don't have door handles. So that comes in clutch. Question number 16, what do I do if I get a flat tire or run out of charge? Well, it's very similar to what you would do in a normal gas car, with a couple exceptions. Make sure to use pucks that you can get on Amazon. Those go on the bottom of the car. There's little holes. So if you need to jack the car up ever, or a tow truck driver does or something like that, they protect the battery pack on the bottom. They look exactly like hockey pucks with a little nub on the bottom. And that little nub, you just turn it upside down and pop it up into the bottom of the car. That's it. Then you can put the jack right on there. Most tow truck drivers should know about this, but I have gone to a couple tire stores that didn't, so I let them use mine. Also, Tesla's service from within the app will provide tire service up to 50 miles. And I got the premium plan with AAA that allows a tow up to 200 miles with multiple 100-mile tows each year. Between that, and then I also got the official air compressor from Tesla, which I don't think they sell anymore. That also came with a tire sealant kit. And so I've just been using that. And the one time I did need to use that, it worked perfectly. All right, question 17. Can you talk about brakes on a Tesla? Sure. So Teslas use what's called regenerative braking. And so if you've ever been in a golf cart and electric golf cart, and you press the accelerator down, you obviously start going. And then as soon as you let off, it starts to slow down. Same thing here. It's just basically like a really fast golf cart. And so because of this, when you're letting off, you're actually creating energy for the car, and it actually will store it. So sometimes when I'm in the mountains, like here in Las Vegas, about 35 minutes away, we have what's called Mount Charleston. When I'm coming back from Mount Charleston, I actually gain about 6 to 7% coming back into Las Vegas. And also when I'm driving around, let's say a downtown setting, like downtown Minneapolis or Chicago or something like that, I actually can do that for hours at a time and never touch the brakes once. You just don't need to. So you kind of get used to when to let off and when to not. And the only time I ever need to use a brake is like if there's a sudden stop where I have to stop a little bit faster than normal. But otherwise, don't need to use them at all. And so that creates a much more efficient braking mechanism. And then the wear and tear on your brakes is like a fraction of what it normally would be on a regular car. So they're going to last a lot longer. Question number 18. Do you have self-service when camping? Sometimes. It can be a real headache sometimes, but the car uses AT&T, so watching YouTube or Netflix is usually okay. And my phone and MiFi hotspot, both are on the T-Mobile network. So between those three, aren't usually too many problems. But many times when I'm super remote, I'll be on no bars. So one of the rookie mistakes that I previously made is I didn't preload or cache my directions either in the car or at least on my phone before going into a national park. And so when I got into the national park, I realized, like when I was in the Smoky Mountain National Park in Tennessee, I realized, oh crap, I don't have any way to access directions. So make sure you either have a screenshot or you cache the map or go old school, print it out. Question number 19, which is another one that I get asked a lot, is can you explain the supercharger speeds and the numbers on the stalls? So typically superchargers are 72, 74 kilowatt, 150 kilowatt, or 250 kilowatt. Most of the ones that you're going to encounter are going to be the 150 watt and 250 kilowatt. Those are going to charge your car up from 0 to 80% in probably about 20-25 minutes. The 150 ones, which are probably actually the most prevalent across the United States, don't take that much longer. The beginning will be a little bit slower. The main thing you need to think about when you're pulling into a supercharger, the numbers on the stalls, those indicate not only what charger they are for Tesla to know, but they also indicate that if, let's say it's a 150 kilowatt charger, 150 kilowatt and below, you'll share the electricity coming in with anybody else on the same number. So if you pull up, there's 1A, 1B, 1C, then 2A, 2B, 2C, you don't want to park at the same number as somebody else if at all possible. Obviously, if it's full, you don't have an option with that. But if it's not full and you can just pull in kind of on the side where you're not near anybody, that's ideal. Because then otherwise, if you end up parking on, let's say 1C and somebody was already in 1A, you're going to end up sharing and splitting that energy coming in. So it ends up taking almost twice as long. Whereas if you're on your own number, again, if possible, you'll be getting the full amount of electricity coming in and it'll go the fastest as possible. On 250 kilowatt chargers, you do not need to worry about this. And you can always determine when you tap the screen to tap on a supercharger, it tells you what the speed is. So you'll know when you get there, oh, it's 150 kilowatt. You'll know then not to park next to somebody again, if possible. All right, almost done. Question number 20. How are the 3W floor mats holding up? Still great. Highly recommend them. Unfortunately, they've been out of stock for the last 2 or 3 weeks. And although 3W told me they would be in stock twice now, I think 10 days ago and then a few days ago, neither have happened yet. They do have Model 3 in stock, but I would currently probably suggest, if you're looking for something right now, look at the 3D Max Spider floor mats. Those have been widely considered fan favorite for Tesla owners for the last couple of years. So I will link to those down in the description below. And then if the 3Ws come back into stock, I'll make sure to update the description as well as my review video, which I'll link to below as well. All right, question number 21. After almost a year, have you seen any battery degradation? I have. 100% used to say 326 miles when I first got the car, and now 100% charge says around 305 miles. So in about a year, I've lost, I guess, probably around 20 miles off of what they stated when I first bought it. Your battery is covered under warranty with Tesla for 8 years or 100,000 miles. So if you're seeing more than that, I would probably make sure to make a service appointment within the app. Although I haven't come across anybody who's seen a large loss as of yet. All right, so I think that covers most of the frequently asked questions by my viewers. If I missed something and you have another one, please comment below and I'd be happy to get back to you. Also, just a reminder, I'll be heading out on some new travel adventures out west starting later this week, so stay tuned for new travel episodes. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next travel, quick tip, or review video. Thanks for watching.